There you go. Sorry about that, guys. Welcome back to day 2 of the Bremen Pokemon TCG Regional Championships here in Germany. I'm Nicholas Pierce, and with you once again, and I'm here with Lydia Holmback. Sorry. So yeah, we're both back here. Lydia is also from Limitless. I've been kindly invited as a guest to come back, and we've got a great day 2 match for you for the first round.
Yeah, we'll see Philip Schulz from Limitless versus Mees Brenninkmeijer from Complexity Card Gaming.
Yeah, so a team rivalry face-off almost.
Yeah.
And we can transition to that game to you right now. The players they have set up and they don't have names.
Oh,
whoops.
We should add some
Yeah,
names.
we probably should do that. Okay, tell you what, let me just right. Let's add those in there. So,
okay.
So we didn't feature Philip yesterday, did we? In the end,
No, we didn't.
but we did feature Mees. We know that Mees is playing Golisopod Garbodor, and Philip, does he also play Metagross?
No, he's also playing No, he's
Golisopod.
not playing Metagross. He's playing Golisopod Garbodor.
So another mirror match.
It's a mirror match.
Yeah, like we saw yesterday with Mees against the guy, was it Mark Holstrup?
Mark H.
Yeah, Mark
something.
Holstrup, yeah. So yeah, here we go.
Okay, so I'll just give the judge a sign so we can start the round.
Yes, we can, and they have not received. Oh yeah, there it is. So it goes a handshake, and Philip on the left is going to start with a Trubbish, and Mees on the right is going to be starting with that Wimpod, and Philip straight away with a Bridget. It's a great start already.
Definitely.
So Bridget's allows you to just take any free non-EX basic Pokemon from the deck and put them straight onto your bench. Of course, with the release of Tapu Lele and GX Pokemon, this card became a lot more powerful because this card was printed before GX Pokemon were a thing. So you can actually, if you want to, you can get GX Pokemon with it as well as your regular basics. Although, to be honest, in most of the decks that use it, not really, apart from maybe like Dramba Garbodor, it's not that this part doesn't matter so much. It's more that with the Tapu Lele, you can just very easily search this card from your deck and get your setup going really quickly.
Yeah, well, yesterday we saw someone trying to grab Espeon EX with it and other basic Pokemon. This is not possible, as you may only grab one EX.
Yes, you can grab one, but then if you do grab an EX, you can't grab any other basics. So Philip now going to put down a second Trubbish and 2 Wimpod to go with it. So obviously you're going to want to have access to both the Garbotoxin Garbodor and the Trash Lunch Garbodor. So want to get as many Trubbishes into play as possible, but also want to make sure you have access to multiple Golisopods so you can maybe switch between them to keep doing those first impressions.
So let's see. Well, in the mirror match, we had a few mirror matches yesterday. It's always important who makes the setup first, who is able to attack first, and well, who's not missing cards out first.
Yeah, we saw like a lot of really big sort of misses were sort of the key turns where a mirror match turned into the favour of one of the players, and we'll also have to see how this happens here as Mees goes for his own Tapu Lele and will find his own Bridget.
Yeah, that's your standard first turn. Usually you try to do that. There are not many reasons you're not playing Bridget first turn. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, unless it's prized, maybe that's one of the reasons why you might not play it. Interesting to see that Mees actually isn't opting to go for his Trubbishes. They are in the decks, they are available to him, but he's actually preferring the route of going for the Tapu Koko promo and 2 more Wimpod. This is very interesting.
It is.
So yeah, there were 1 Wimpod, 1 promo, and or maybe he's changing his mind.
Maybe his Trubbishes are priced.
No, I think I saw them in the deck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that does just saying just now. So, but no, he's just deciding, you know what, I actually just want to get as many Wimpods out as possible. Maybe thinking if he can set up all his Golisopods and just retreat between them, then if he doesn't have Acerola, it forces Philip Guzman to take knockouts.
Yeah, maybe he's thinking he does not really rely on the Garbotoxin in this matchup. He sees Philip has 2 Trubbish out, so if Philip is blocking abilities, it's not really disrupting Mees. Well, at least not more than it's disrupting Philip as well, and he thinks he might save his Garbodors for the late game as they become more powerful then.
And then not only that as well, but getting the Koko promo out, even though perhaps you don't want to use the attack so much in this matchup, it's still really strong for the retreat, because of course it means that if you play a Guzma, you always have something to switch into, which you can then retreat back into the Golisopod to make that first impression do the 90 extra again.
Yeah, sure.
As we see from Philip's side, putting a Rainbow Energy down and a Choice Band. I'm going to play a Sycamore. He's obviously going to want to be digging for that Golisopod so he can start putting some pressure on, and if you can actually get the attack off. Oh, I think he missed. That is huge.
Oh, he's playing Town Map.
Of
Classic Philip Schulz.
Of course he's playing Town Map. Why wouldn't he play Town Map? It's, but yeah, no, a very unfortunate miss from Philip. Oh no, he has a good spot. Okay. He must have just missed it. But if he actually missed that, that would have been really, really bad, because then Mees could have just attached an energy, played a Guzma, and then knocked free energy off of Philip's side of the field with Golisopod first.
Yeah, that would have been huge. Well, talking about Town Map, I can remember Birmingham regionals where Philip wasn't sure about what kind of deck to play, and then he told me like, well, I'm still thinking of 2 decks. You know, there's one deck I actually would prefer because it's stronger, but there's this other deck where I can play Town Map in, so I just go for my second option and play something with Town Map. That
sounds like the sort of thing Philip would say. Yeah, there goes, really strong players. Tournament Mees as he evolves 2 wind pods, has a float zone on the active, so all he will need is a grass energy, and he will be able to do a first impression himself, taking not taking a knockout, but doing some damage onto the Golisopod. But looks like instead opting to attach double colors to the Lele and just going to do an energy drive for 100. This is still fine because with the Lele combined with a first impression is 100 plus 120, which actually takes a knockout. But does Philip has an Acerola to stop that?
Let's see what he can find.
I don't see it.
It does not look like it.
Again, unless he's hiding it like he did with the Golisopod last time. But no, I think if he had the Acerola, he would have played it by now. And
probably there's a Sycamore in his. Oh, he's playing N.
Okay, yeah. So obviously thinking that there's too much he wants, that would be bad to discard from the Sycamore, so opting for the N instead. But yeah, no Acerola for Philip and no Floatstone either means that he might actually even make this the turn he uses Crossing Cut. I mean, it is using it early, but it will do 180, enabled him to switch to Preserved Golisopod, and it also knocks out the Lele, so it's actually fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, that's what GX attacks are for. They can save your game. They are a great opportunity. It's sometimes bad to use them as early in the game as now, but it's not too bad.
I mean, if you don't have the choice, you don't have the choice, right? You just gotta play with what's given to you. We do see a heavy ball from Philip going to get himself a second Golisopod, so he'll be able to set that up nicely. I think the one thing he probably wants to find is, if he does use Crossing Cut, is just something good to retreat into. There is the Trubbish on the bench of the Floatstone, which could be good to retreat to, but a Field Blower could ruin that. I think ideally he'd want to. I'm assuming, does he play the Tapu Koko promo or not?
I really don't know.
It's not like, this isn't one of those like sort of 60 card mirror matches where people worked on a list together. It's the same archetype, but these lists will be slightly different. So it'll be interesting to see what actually ends up happening. And is Philip going to go for the Crossing Cut? Yes,
I think he was just searching for his GX counter.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And opting to switch into the Wind Pod because he doesn't want to really give up the Trubbish.
So he's taking a double colorless energy from his prize cards and a Garbodor.
Yes. This makes sense. It means that next turn you can just evolve that Floatstone to Trubbish and stop Mees from being able to use Lele, I guess. That's the only ability really stopping in this matchup.
Yeah.
But it still could be impactful. Another Ultra Ball from Mees will find him probably either a Garbodor and Garbodor or Lele actually.
Lele and Guzma. Yeah.
Of course. So this makes sense. So you'll be able to use the Guzma, switch into the Golisopod with the energy on it, and bring up something of Philip's. It's going to bring up the Golisopod with a bunch of energy on it. In comes the Golisopod, and that will be, I imagine, a first impression.
Probably. So that should be enough for the KO.
Because it already had 100 damage on it from before, from the energy drive. So really great play from Mees, and now go back to Philip. He brings up the Trubbish at the Floatstone, of course he does. Takes his draw for turn, and he's going. We know he's got the Garbodor in good hand, so he can evolve that up and stop Mees from being able to say Lele again next turn if he frees up a bench slot. But equally, Philip. I mean, he has a double colorless too. You can't use Crossing Cut, but maybe something for him to consider could be Armor Press. This is something we mentioned when Mees and Mark were playing yesterday. If you can Armor Press twice and the Golisopod player is forced to first impression twice, it actually protects it from the knockout by 10. So sometimes it doesn't always work out, but sometimes that can actually prevent this something from being knocked out really well.
Yeah, that's true. So let's see. Philip is playing an Ultra Ball. He's probably going for a Garbodor.
So he's already shuffling his deck again. I'm not so sure whether he found the Garbodor or not. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about these mirror matches.
Yeah, so so like we were saying before, a lot of it can come down to who misses first, and especially in this Golisopod Garbodor mirror match, like we saw yesterday, it was just a back and forth stream of playing Acerolas constantly. So if one person misses an Acerola first after doing a first impression, that can be pretty huge, because then of course the Gigan first impression again, and then at that point it's going to be you do actually take the knockout. And here it is, the first one, Acerola from Mees, picking up the Golisopod, bringing up the Coco, and I imagine we'll just see evolve, bench the Wimpod, probably attach it to the grass again, and we'll be doing first impression once again. Actually, I just realised I was talking to Mees yesterday, and he's playing grass energy, so he's actually not playing the Trash Latch Garbodor.
Oh.
Yeah, I think because either that or no, wait, maybe he. I actually can't remember if he's, because I remember him mentioning something about going straight grass, but did we see a Rainbow Energy out of him yesterday? I actually can't remember now.
Not yet, no.
But yesterday, I mean, or.
I really can't remember. I'm sorry.
This day was a very long day. But
very long day, yeah.
I know. I seem to just vaguely recall Mace saying something about running more just grass energy instead of rainbows, but he could have been talking about other people's decks. I'm actually not sure now.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. We will see. Philip is definitely playing the Trash Latch Garbodor. I know that much. Looks like Philip has got. Oh yeah, there's the rainbow, so that sort of proves it as well. It looks like Philip is eyeing up an N and is going to play that, thinking there's nothing he really wants to Guzma out this turn. He can, he could do KO with like the Tapu Koko promo, maybe force Mace to have a little bit more of an awkward time of his retreats and just take one more prize, and then able to avoid the 7 prize game that way. But looks like instead Philip would rather just do armor press to the active.
At the moment Mace has no float stone in game, so if Philip could manage to KO this Tapu Koko, it sure would distract Mace. Yeah,
but instead, Philip just opting to go for the N, not playing anything from it, but just gonna be doing the armor press for 100. I believe that's armor press, right? Is that 100 or 120 on there? I can't actually see.
I really can't see it.
No, these dice are really not great.
Well, there comes the Acerola, so damage doesn't matter anyway because it's gun.
yeah, definitely. Then again, evolve, a bench, attach to grass, attach a choice band to the Garbodor and Garbodor as well. And another first impression for... Oh, it's actually a knockout because it was already damaged. Didn't even see. Wow. No, so again, Philip missing these Acerolas really, really big, because Mace is actually able to take knockouts, whereas Philip is not, because Mace has not missed a beat with his Acerolas at all. Here comes a Sycamore from Philip. Needs to find something.
He really needs another Golisopod now.
But he doesn't even have a Wimpod on the bench, so he actually just can't get Golisopod out this turn, which is very unfortunate.
Definitely, he might go for. Oh
wait, is that the? Oh, that's a Golisopod. I thought it was a Lele.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, it's kind of hard to see what some of these cards are sometimes. So we thought that was a Lele, but no, it's a Golisopod.
No, it's a Golisopod. So, but I also thought it was Lele. I was just about to say he might go for a Tapu Lele, but it's Golisopod.
Yeah. So again, can't see what the dice is either. Oh, again.
We saw that happening yesterday. He was so lucky to find all his Acerolas.
Yeah, he even told us afterwards that when he took a knockout, he actually found 2 from his prizes and then drew 1. So that's why he was able to play all 4 of them, in a row, essentially. Yeah, really great turn for Mace. As being able to Acerola constantly is really probably gonna win him this match, unless Philip can find an Acerola of his own.
Yeah, if he can't find an Acerola on his own, he's gonna have a hard time.
What you see instead, grass energy. I don't see one, Lydia. I don't see an Acerola.
Too bad.
Yeah, there is a choice band though. And
It's still Mees.
Yeah.
Last game.
Natasha and DC are going to be able to do armor press to pick up the KO, and Mace takes game 1, and we will be moving into game 2. So what that game really showed is that, again, really being able to hit key things in your opponent missing is
Definitely.
how mirror matches are won and lost, and Mace just hit all the ace rollers. There's no way that Philip could really stand up to that.
Yeah, I think that definitely is the key card in this mirror match, and probably in the whole deck. You need to be able to heal the damage because it is a 2-hit knockout, and if you can get away the damage, of course you have one more time. You just redid what your opponent did.
Yeah.
That's always great, of course.
And it's a double benefit as well, because not only are you healing your Golisopod, but then if you already have another Golisopod on the bench ready to go, you send that active, and then first impression triggers because it became active that turn, doing 120 instead of 30.
I mean, that's the whole strategy of the deck.
Exactly,
Isn't it?
exactly. That's the whole way the deck is meant to work. I think if Mace wins game 2 and he ends up here for the winning 2, we should just put his name as Mace Ace Roller.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Or even like Forest Roller. I don't know. It's, he's definitely been able to hit them really, really well. So just what these guys set up, we have our customary mid-game look at the chat to see what guys are saying. Oh, there's actually not many people here right now. Oh, can we put the records on the screen?
I will work on that.
Yeah, we can ask about that. Also, pick your matchups better. Yesterday, streamed a lot of mirror matches. I mean, the thing is, we're trying to pick good players, right? It's we don't have access to all the deck lists. We have some idea of what everyone is playing right now, but at the same time, we want to pick good players. And mirror matches aren't. I don't know. There is. You can't avoid it sometimes because especially when you get to the top tables, a lot of people playing the same good decks. So if you want to stream good players against each other, the mirror matches can sometimes be a little bit unavoidable, especially when you're talking about people with higher records.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why you're seeing a couple of mirror matches yesterday and today. Well, I mean yesterday especially.
Yeah, yesterday the problem was also that we didn't really know what people were playing, so we were just looking for names. And sometimes you can't really control the matchups. Yeah,
but so we will try and pick some more different matchups today, so sort of mix things up. So if you guys want, so in any case, Philip starting with his signature town map, flipping over. Oh, well, this will be 2 Gizmos and a double colorless. Not
too good.
Yeah, not the best. But at least that means he knows that Bridget isn't prized, so he can just get that out of the deck.
And again, there comes the Tapulele, a Bridget, and 2 Wimpod and 1 Trubbish.
So, I guess that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Again.
So, Philip is going for, pretty much the exact same start as last round. It must be something that paid off for him already. Mace is starting with a Tapu Koko promo, which is a pretty good start as it has no retreat cost, so you can retreat it into anything.
Yeah, and I think this is something that Mace really likes to do, which is the whole bring it out early or start of it if it gets you lucky, and then so you don't have to use a float stone to retreat between stuff after Guzma to make the most of the first impression attack. It's a really cool card for this reason.
Definitely.
And Mace's hand actually looks quite unworkable.
Oh yeah. He's attaching an energy to Tapu Koko.
Not ideal. And
he draws pass.
So actually, Philip has a float stone, a grass energy, and a Golisopod. There it is.
Oh,
that is the
that's game.
Oh,
all these quick games.
Again, yeah, we've had quite a few on the stream, like more than usual, I think. So with that, Philip takes a quick game.
But would you say this has something to do with the rotation? That decks get more inconsistent through loss of Versus Seeker, for example?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because in that specific situation, I mean, Versus Seeker wouldn't have helped because there was no support in the discard pile, but there are other cards as well, and it's I don't know, with just the way decks were built, people played a bit more aggressively, and that you just didn't see this happen as much.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it is just a string of bad luck, but I think I'd be very surprised if the rotation didn't have something to do with the fact that this keeps happening a lot more.
Yeah, sure. But this always kind of happens after rotation because, the cards you may use are pretty limited. You have, you lost a lot of things, and you also lost a lot of things that gave your deck more consistency, that you draw cards, and
and all that things that are pretty important. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what ends up happening in this game 3 then. Hopefully we don't see a repeat of game 2 because that was a little bit sad. Both players have been able to get basics though, so no mulligans here. And back on the prizes, and Mees will be going first, and he has an Ultra Ball, so it's already much better. And he has a Trubbish too.
Yeah, so Mees might go for the classic start, Ultra Ball, Tapu Lele, Bridget. Let's see, he's probably going to do that now.
Yeah, this is assuming that's in the deck, but I see him. Yeah, okay, he's pulling it to the front already. He's got access to it. So there goes Lele, there goes the Bridget, and we'll probably be seeing, if it's anything like game 1, 2 Win Pods and a Tapu Koko promo.
Yeah, but he already arranged a Trubbish up front, but...
Oh, maybe...
Oh no. Yeah, exact same start as last game. He's going for 2 Win Pods and 1 Tapu Koko promo.
Yeah. And I think if Mees isn't playing the Garbodor and Garbodor, like we said he may or may not be earlier, then this kind of makes sense because you don't really want to get Trubbish out just for the purposes of, Garbodor, because all it really stops on Philip's side is Lele, and you rather just set up more attackers and have that retreating option with the Koko.
That's true. Especially as Philip isn't really playing any Pokemon with abilities. So
yeah, apart from Lele. Okay, double colors goes down onto the Koko, which is quite interesting. And then Mees just passes. What does Philip have to respond with? He has. Okay, he has an Ultra Ball. Okay, so again, we'll see a proper game this time. It's fine. Discarding what looks to be
Guzma and
something I can't see.
I can't really see it either.
No. Whatever it is, it's gone. So Bridget has played, gonna grab herself 2 Win Pods, and I imagine a Trubbish.
Yeah.
If you can find one.
Yeah, I think there were. 3 Win Pod. Maybe he's also deciding not to go for Garbodor this turn or that early in the game.
Yeah, possibly. Maybe thinking, you know what, Mees isn't going to play a huge amount of items. Garbodor doesn't help me too much. May as well just get out more of my main attacker.
Probably.
And also just having a look through because he hasn't been able to play his town map yet, so he needs to know what's prized. What if his town map is prized?
Oh.
The controversy.
Crazy world.
Yeah, crazy world. I can just imagine if Philip ever sees a town map prize, he must just want to cry a little bit inside.
Probably his heart's getting broken.
Definitely.
Okay, so Philip shuffling back his deck. He might attach an energy and then just passes. That's what he's doing. He's attaching an energy to his benched Wimpod. Maybe a Floatstone. Yeah, Floatstone to the Trubbish, retreating into the Tapu Lele as he does not really want to get the Trubbish or the Wimpod KO'd. And now it's Mees' turn. So Mees is considering to play an Ultra Ball, I think. I can't really see it, probably.
Yeah, I think that's right. There it is. I think he's wondering what is best to discard and deciding to go with the Grass Energy and the Trubbish. You imagine he's going to go for a Lele, but for what for? I guess he needs a draw supporter. I don't know what's in the rest of his hand, but if he's going for a Lele, the rest of his hand is probably a bit dead. Yeah, Sycamore it will be. So search out the deck, and what was the other card in his hand? Did you see it?
I couldn't see it.
No,
but probably nothing good.
Yeah, probably not. It's the Rainbow
Energy. So he can attach his energy and then Sycamores without any cards left in his hand.
Also, if he is playing Rainbow Energy, that means he must be playing a Garbodor and Garbodor. So again, it is just a matter of he doesn't want to play it this early because he just doesn't see the value in it in this matchup, I guess. But let's say he was just forced to pass after that. So you're getting energy down, that's pretty cool, but no evolutions means that Wimpod is looking a little bit vulnerable. If Philip, he's playing the N, so it's fine anyway. But yeah, there could have been a potential knockout on the Wimpod there if he had the Guzma and the Golisopod in hand.
I think this is also where the maybe slight advantage of playing Tapu Koko in this mirror match comes into play. Well, Mees doesn't really need to bring out his Garbodors while Philip has to. He does not really want to leave the Trubbish on the field. He wants to evolve it in order to give it a little bit more HP. So he has to play the Trubbish, evolve it into a Garbodor, and play a Floatstone, which can get blown off by Field Blower. So yeah.
Definitely. Philip now with the evolving into the non-Golisopod Garbodor, the one Trash Avalanche, just setting himself up another attacker for later. Does he have the Golisopod?
I don't think so. But it looks like he has a support card in his hand, so he should be fine.
Next. Yeah,
okay.
he just supported. That's what I'm thinking. So
Okay.
we find it for next turn, but for now, just force the pass. Oh, there's a Golisopod from Mace as well. Big draw and a Floatstone. Oh,
into the Tapu Koko.
interesting. So it's actually a rainbow, and looks like he will be going for the flying flip.
Looks like it, yeah.
So I guess. Oh, actually, one thing that makes this really cool about this is that now with a choice band, first impression gets the KO on the Lele. That's actually pretty big, so you can like save a crossing cut for later. There goes the energy double colors onto the active Tapu Lele. I'm not going to be able to get a KO on the Coco, sadly. Debating a choice band onto the one of the bench win pods, but opting against it.
Yeah. Kuzma.
Bringing up the Garbodor and Garbodor, the Trash Lash Garbodor with the Floatstone, retreating back into the Lele and doing energy drive for this to be 90. And back to Mace now, as he needs to, I think Kai wants to respond here. So, I mean, the ideal thing for him would just be able to, Floatstone, and he's bringing in the type of Coco Pro up again.
Spreading a bit more damage around Philip's field.
If he can do Flying Flip 3 times, that actually puts him at a huge advantage, because then he can actually use Choice Band with First Impression to KO on the Golisopod GXs, and that is huge.
I think that's what he wants to do here, because he realizes Philip isn't really in a good position, and he has time to do that now. He does not really need to put a lot of pressure on Philip, so he has time to set up.
Yeah. Down goes one Golisopod to evolve the Wimpod on the bench. A Sycamore from Philip as well. Going to want to be finding some more Golisopods off of that, and after which probably just going to bring up the Golisopod just evolved and do First Impression.
Yeah.
Sadly, leaving Mace one turn short of like the potential amazing Flying Flip to set up everything afterwards, but the Coco still definitely put in enough work to prove its merit, and now Mace can bring up the Lele with the Floatstone on it. And one thing that is nice is that with the 2 Flying Flips Mace was able to do, he can still do Crossing Cut GX for a knockout on a Golisopod, which is pretty cool.
There, of course, is Mace Acerola.
Yep. It's the first of many, I'm sure. Trubbish now finally goes down for Mace. I don't believe he has a double colorless energy, which is a shame for him, so it means that he actually won't be able to do crossing cuts, but he can still do first impression. Yeah, and that's still absolutely fine. So, and that's what's going to happen. So, 120, draw for Philip. Does Philip finally find an Acerola? He is playing it, right? He must do.
He must be playing Acerola.
You can't not play Acerola in this deck. But it looks like again he hasn't seen it.
Floatstone. And let's see how's Philip going to react to it. Oh, he's playing an N, so that means he's not finding an Acerola. They are both shuffling back their hands into their deck. So far, Philip has only taken 1 prize card, which gives him 5 more cards. 5 cards are still something you can work with. It's definitely fine. Mace is getting a fully fresh hand, 6 cards. That's also pretty nice. So let's see what they will be able to find from this N. It looks like Philip has got an Ultra Ball, so he can find himself a new Golisopod GX, which would be nice. That would would him guarantee a good board position.
So with Mace in the current position he's in, Philip. Oh, he does find the other Golisopod, like you said. So it's good that he was able to find that. Gonna take a quick look at Philip's Mace's discard pile rather.
Probably checking the amount of items.
Which is to say, not a lot from what we can see. Not what Philip wanted to see there. Let's see, scratching his head a little bit, thinking about what might be the best thing to do. He does have a double colorless in his hand, but instead opting to attach the rainbow to the Garbodor, the Trash Life Garbodor.
Yeah.
don't know why I'm getting that mixed up so much. And he will indeed bring that up, and we'll do a trash lunch, but it's not going to be a knockout.
Definitely not.
Now, we know what Mace is like. Does he have another Acerola? I'd be shocked if he doesn't, but actually, for once.
Wow. No Acerola.
No, this is a shocking Mace. Letting me
Even
down.
Lele couldn't help him because his bench is full.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what a letdown. And now Mace is in a position where he needs to think, what do I actually want to do here?
This could actually be the turning point in this mirror match. If Philip is able to KO the Golisopod next round, he's already 3 prices ahead, and Mace hasn't taken any of his prize cards so far. So, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And it looks like Mace actually opted to attach a double colorless to the Tapu Lele on the bench. And looks like he's going to bring it up.
I think what Philip wants here is Mees to KO his Garbodor, as Philip has a Tapu Lele on the bench, which would him then find a Guzma.
Ah, okay. So yeah, he can just play down the one for his hand. Yeah,
and that's exactly what Mees is doing.
Yeah. So energy drive will be enough to knock out because of the damage already on the Garbodor, and now Philip has that bench slot free, so he can put that Tapu Lele down from his hand and indeed get the Guzma. Is that what he's going to do though?
I don't know if he has any other draw supporter, but maybe he's hoping to draw one. Yeah, that's what he's going to do now.
Yeah, indeed. So gonna bring up the damaged Golisopod and knock it out with first impression, which is really, really good for him.
Yeah.
He's gonna play that now. Looks like he's debating. Maybe there's.
No, I think he's just waiting for Mace to finish shuffling his deck.
No. Mace is just shuffling his hand.
Okay.
I think maybe Philip is wondering if the Golisopod is the best target. Maybe he's thinking there's something else worth targeting down instead.
I think he had no other draw supporter.
And
that's why he's rather going for a Sycamore.
Yeah. Of course, if you can maybe Guzma and like KO the Golisopod, if you have nothing to follow up with it afterwards, that could put you in trouble.
Yeah.
Because this is one thing where the lack of Versus Seeker really comes in big, because if Versus Seeker was still in format, I think Philip would have 100% gone for the Guzma there. Because you're so much safer to like getting out from the prizes. But the way the format is now, you just can't take that risk. You need to play the draw supporters and make sure you have stuff to work the next turn.
Well, he could have hoped for something good out of his prize cards, but Philip is a pretty experienced player, and he probably knows what's in his prize cards. Maybe there aren't a lot of supporters there, and it's too risky for him. Yeah,
he just knows that there's just no point in doing that. After the signal gets discarded. He finally sees his town map, and we do see that Heavy Ball, Floatstone, Ultra Ball, Rainbow, and Enhanced Hammer. There you go. So extremely clever play from Philip, knowing that it was just way too risky to not take the draw supporter. And with that, he will retreat into.
That's a damaged support.
I think essentially what he's doing now is because it's already damaged anyway.
Yeah.
There's no drawback to using it to attack.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's essentially it sponges more damages from Mace's side if he does that. So that's why he decided to bring up that one. And then if Mace somehow does miss the KO, which I doubt he will, but if he does, then he can. Just use maybe an Acerola next turn and just heal it all up again. Now, with Maze, he's gonna have to think this one through a bit carefully. He again does not have access to Acerola in a shocking turn of events.
Wow!
Because
how can this happen to a Maze?
Yeah, I know, especially after game one and his stream match yesterday. Oh, he does have it.
Oh. Okay.
He slow rolled it. Unbelievable. I guess he was just debating whether it was better to Acerola the Lele or the bench Golisopod, and he just decided that the bench Golisopod was the more sensible thing to preserve. And now with this, he will be able to do first impression and take the knockout on Philip's Golisopod, actually putting him down to 3 prizes remaining, not 2. Okay.
But this is something Philip must have considered. He must have known it. He probably didn't plan to have this Golisopod next turn.
No,
this turn.
No, indeed not. You know, it's funny, Lydia. We still haven't seen a single Isorilla out of Philip, have we?
Yeah, that's true.
Does he actually just not play it? Because like
Honestly, I don't know, but I can't imagine he's not playing it.
surely, like it's like you were saying before. It's such a key cornerstone of what makes Golisopod such a great attacker, but he's just not seen one yet. I don't even see one in his discard pile.
No.
Are they seriously just like all still in his deck?
Well, that's something I will surely find out after this round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it just seems very strange that we're not seeing any. It makes me think that he's just not playing it because surely he would have seen one by now.
Yeah. That's true.
I guess maybe this N will reveal a bit more. Maybe help us answer this conundrum. Like, does Philip play Acerola? Vote now on your phones.
Tell us in the chat.
yeah. Do you think Philip plays Acerola?
So let's see.
There's a Lele, Rainbow, Garbotoxin, Garbodor. Not actually the Garbotoxin this time. A Choice Band and a Rescue Stretcher.
So Philip might go for the rescue stretcher and the option of putting one Pokemon from his discard pile back into his hand. Probably going for a Golisopod GX then.
Yeah, probably. I was just going to say, so with the Golisopod, he will be able to have sort of two ready to go. He already has one with a grass and a double colors on it, which is great for him. But looks like his decision is not really that easy.
Yeah, or it's just his normal face.
Yeah. I think again it's also the fact of he knows that Mace could potentially have access to Trash Lunch later and is wary about putting more items in a discard pile.
That's true.
And now, he's gonna bring up. Looks like it's gonna be. Oh no, maybe he's gonna bring up the other Golisopod. He's definitely gonna bring up one of them, but maybe he's thinking it's best to save the one with the DCE for later.
See, that's his thinking face.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's see. Philip is switching into a new Golisopod, attacking with First Impression, I guess. And now it's Mace's turn. Mace is... Oh yeah, he played an Ultra Ball, going for a Garbodor here. Probably, this is the later state of the game. Philip must have a lot of item cards in his discard pile, so the damage output of Trash Lunch should be huge enough. So Mace is considering playing it now. Mace is in a pretty good board position. Actually, he has a Golisopod. He has two. No, this is the Tapu Lele. He has a lot of damage on the field, but we know Mace is always able to find his Acerola, so damage on the field is no problem for Mace.
Yeah, this is. It's his game plan. It's just how he's gonna win all his matches. But it looks like just a first impression from Mace. So back to Philip now. Now, does that Golisopod have enough damage on it to where it could be KO'd by a first impression?
I am not so sure, but it looks like Philip might go for a Trash Lunch now.
Interesting. So there's still not a huge amount of items in Mace's discard, though. I'm fairly sure it's not. It looks like going into Garbotoxin and just playing a Sycamore.
Well, it's interesting that Philip is thinking about now going for the Garbodor, because that would deny him the option of forcing Mace to play a 7-price game. So
yeah, because it means that if he does the Trash Lunch, Mace just takes the KO first impression again, and then although I was gonna say if he does that, he just gets KO'd back. But then if he does, that's still okay because Philip actually has 5 prizes left to take. So as long as Mace is able to knock out twice back, Mace can afford to lose 2 Golisopods and still win the game. But so we'll see.
Down goes the first Golisopod.
Yep. It'd be interesting to see whether Philip used first impression or armor press. We can't quite tell because of the way it sort of happened, but. Yeah, back to Mace now, and you see that he has another win bod, so that's good. So maybe he can evolve that and start attacking with fresh Golisopods instead of risking damage.
But his hand doesn't look that good. He doesn't seem to be so happy about it.
No, I guess not.
So, let's see if he somehow is able to find. Oh, he's Guzma for the Garbodor, as it is an easy price. Mees does not really want to play a 7 price game, so...
No, and he knows that if he does this, then Philip is sort of forced to attack with the Golisopod, so
Yeah.
it ends up being quite good. And
but the thing is, Mees now has his this is the Tapu Lele. It already has a lot of damage on it, so Philip might be able, or should actually be able, to KO it this turn.
yeah, I think that's the dream. Gosh, very crucial few turns here. This is these two decisions are where mirror matches are won and lost. It's down to the wire. Mees only has 2 price cards left to take. Philip has 3. Philip has a very big hand to work with.
Oh yes. He also has a float stone on his hand, so he can attach it to Garbodor and retreat it later, which is something a lot of players just do. They want to have a free retreat Pokemon and in the active position, so they have all their options left. They can play a supporter card before they decide what bench Pokemon they want to put into the active position, and then, well, just have a few more options. Even so, you usually don't change your mind on what you want to do.
Yeah, but it's important because maybe 1 in 100 games you do change your mind. So it's important to, like you said, that just leave yourself the option open in case. Because if you do end up changing your mind, you can't then stretch and think to yourself, "Oh, that's yeah, that was a bit silly of me."
Yeah, especially because it has no drawbacks.
Yeah, definitely. The N goes down from Philip's side now, and you also put a Rainbow Energy on the Golisopod with a grass already on it, so 1 more basic energy attachment and he will be able to use either Crossing Cut or Armor Press. But Philip takes his draw now. What does he see? 3 cards. Didn't really see what was there. It looks like it's going to be...
KO.
Yep.
So Philip is now actually in a good position, and Mees has no Golisopod out. He has 2 Leles and 1 Garbodor, no energies on the field. But he has an energy in his hand. He decides to put the Lele with the float zone in the active position. Again, a free retreat Pokemon. This is always what you want to do.
Yeah. A very key thing for Mees. He does have a Rainbow Energy in his hand. He has the Garbodor and Garbodor out. He's having a quick look at Philip's discard pile just to make sure whether there's enough items in there for him to go for. Maybe he can attach a Rainbow, go for the Choice Band, and then win that way we're doing Trash Avalanche.
Yeah.
It looks like that's what he's going to go for. So Rainbow goes down. N. Does he find the Choice Band?
I mean, it's only 2 cards he may draw, so...
That doesn't seem 100% likely, does it?
Definitely not.
How many? I'm not even sure how many Choice Band Mees has already played as well.
I have no clue. But it seems like his deck is quite big.
It does.
But sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you just have to hope for your luck.
Yeah.
He did not find a Choice Band.
No. So I guess now he has to think to himself, maybe I just need to switch to... Well, no, you don't even switch to... You literally just have to leave the Lele active, because if you... And you're playing the Heavy Ball... Oh, actually, you maybe go into a Golisopod, but basically you need to... The problem is that Philip is only 1 Choice Band away from taking the game with a... Or a Guzma, yeah. Because he's not used his GX attack yet, has he, Philip?
I don't think so.
No. So, yeah, a pass now from Mees. Does Philip have... Yeah, he has the Choice Band.
That's the Choice Band, so... Win for Philip Schulz.
Yep, Crossing Cut GX takes the win. Oh, and Mees had his last 2 prizes were both Golisopods.
Oh.
That explains it.
That sucks.
That is very brutal. If they both went prize, he could have Heavy Balled for one of them, retreated into that maybe instead.
Yeah.
But instead, as it stands, Philip will take the win. So we have a little bit of time left, so we're actually going to get Philip in for an interview. So everyone stay tuned for that, and don't go away.
Hello and welcome back. I'm here with Philipp Schulz. He just won against me. So, Philipp, one thing we were wondering about, do you even play Acerolas?
No, I don't. So this makes this matchup technically rather bad for It's a Mirror. But, well, I went with a more consistent build. I think Mees only plays 3 Golisopod and yeah. So I have like more consistency card like Town Map, and also I have the enhanced hammers. So my list is more protect against Garbodor because I think Garbodor is so broken, it's so tough to beat. So I really wanted to win that matchup, and I didn't think that too many people would play Golisopod, but yeah. So this matchup isn't great, but I think I have a slightly more consistent list, and this paid off in the 3rd game, so I'm really glad with the outcome.
Okay, so in general, how do you feel your deck is in the mirror match? You already said it's not too good because of Acerola or your lack of Acerola, but speaking in percentages?
Well, I'd say like a 40-60 because it's not that crucial. You have to hit the SROs at the right time, and also I can enhance them away the energy, so my opponent will often have to Sycamore instead of Acerola. And yeah, also you can give up a few prizes early on, that's often quite nice, so you can end your opponent to lower amounts, so that you will eventually just don't draw out of N.
Okay, so you said your deck is quite tagged against Garbodor, so that should be a good matchup for you.
I hope so. Like, my record against Garbodor yesterday was 3-1, so it's decent, I guess. The matchup didn't feel as good as I hoped it would be, but it's definitely fine.
Okay, so looking at the field in day 2, the top 32 players, what are decks or players you don't really want to face today, or you're kind of afraid of facing?
Well, I didn't really check the decks yet, so I don't know exactly what's there. I hope there are no Vulcanian, because that matchup is, well, it's not as bad as you would think, because we still have Lele and Garbodor and stuff like that. So it's quite winnable, but generally it's an uphill battle, so I would prefer to avoid that. But there are definitely players who I would like to face, especially Robin and Tort. I'd really like to face them. It's always interesting playing these guys. And yeah, also I want to beat Tort. Yeah, but other than that I don't really know what's there, and I hope I don't have to play more mirrors.
Yeah, we had Robin here yesterday, and we asked him if he believes this season he can be the better Schulz brother. What do you think about that?
Well, technically he's a player who can definitely be better than me, but he will have to try hard to achieve that.
This answer was so much, Philipp. So, what's your record now?
I'm 7-1-2, so I need to win 2 more and 1 more time to make up.
Okay, so thanks a lot for the interview. Good luck for the rest of the tournament, and see you guys later for the next round.
Ich konnte es großartig aus.